The Premier League season has finally come to an end and Manchester City have been crowned champions. Arsenal finishing in second place. A very, very, very strong effort from them. And I think they can be proud. I generally think Arsenal can be proud. You've lost the league title by 2 points. You've been practically perfect for 90% of this Premier League season. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where Manchester City have just been a little bit better. This narrative that Arteta should be sacked, Arsenal won't succeed, in my opinion, is complete nonsense. We're going to be speaking about that and their season in this video. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video. We are closing in on 7,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. So make sure you go down, show some support. Arsenal 2, Everton 1. A very, very tight game. Not a clinical performance from Arsenal. Lots of possession, lots of shots. A good team effort, to be honest. But they weren't the clinical Arsenal that we've seen in recent weeks. The Arsenal that we saw against Bournemouth and Chelsea and the Wolves and Spurs. But look, this Arsenal team will 100% be back. And we've said this on a number of videos, and I'm going to say this again. They will win the Premier League in the next 2 years. You know, Arteta, for me, is the right man to actually get Arsenal where they need to be. You've been in 2 title races now. You're up against the best team, in my opinion, in world football. Yes, they're not going to do the trouble this season. You're up against the greatest manager of all time, in my opinion. The best squad in world football. Players like De Bruyne, Haaland, Foden, Silva. You know, Vardiel has been playing like Maldini the last 5 or 6 weeks. You know, this Arsenal team will get better and better and better. Maybe you have to bring in a couple more players of real quality to add their own De Bruyne, add their own Erling Haaland. But, you know, Arsenal finished second, scoring 91 goals, conceding 29. Goal difference of 62, 89 points, 38 games played, 28 wins. They won more games this season than when they went invincible in 2004. They broke their Premier League record for the most amount of wins. You know, Liverpool have experienced this not once, but twice, losing out to Guardiola by a matter of points. Arsenal will 100% be back, in my opinion. And I'm sticking with my prediction. They will win the Premier League in the next 2 years. And yes, you could say, oh, but, you know, you're a Spurs fan, etc., etc., etc. Like, I think Arsenal are a really good team. In terms of their game today, you know, lot of the ball, lot of possession, goals from, you know, Tomiyasu and Kai Havertz, and a free goal from Everton. Let's be honest, it was nothing more than that. A deflected free kick, which went completely wrong foot, David Raya. But today, they can hold their head high. You know, they've finished off the season strong. They've won 5 games in a row. I think they've won 12 of their last 14. They've had 2 defeats, I believe, since January in the Premier League. They got to the Champions League quarterfinals. Unfortunately, they lost to Bayern Munich. But let's not forget, this is a young squad with a young manager. And his first real, you know, job as a manager. Yes, you've learned under Guardiola. But I don't think they should sack him. I think they should carry on doing what they're doing. You know, 2 8th place finishes and a 5th place finish. And now you finished second twice. And you've been in 2 Premier League title races. So I don't buy this narrative that they should be getting rid of Arteta. I think they've had a very, very, very good season. I just think, unfortunately, you are up against the best team in the world, in my opinion. And like I said, there is absolutely no shame. There is no shame in finishing second place to Manchester City. Like, let's be honest. If it wasn't for a penalty shootout, they probably would have done a back-to-back treble. You know, they've just won their 4th Premier League title in a row. And next season, who knows? With the 115 charges, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen to them? But let's get on to the game today. Obviously, Everton went 1-0 up from an absolute wild free kick. Idrissa Gana Gueye, wrong foot, David Raya. And you could see the nerves in the stadium. You could see the Arsenal, you know, you could tell the stadium was just absolutely praying with every ounce of their being for a West Ham miracle. But unfortunately, that did not happen. They still showed character. They still showed fight, determination, grit, all of these things to get back into the game. You know, they won today. Admittedly, it's not what they wanted, but they still got the 3 points. And I think it's important to finish this season and be as close to Manchester City as you possibly can. You know, they've improved on last season. Last season, they finished 5 points behind. This season, they finished 2 points behind. Manchester City got 89 points last season. This season finished on 91. They've also improved. But for me, I look at Arsenal now in that game. They're going 1-0 down at half-time. They responded. Goals from Tomiyasu and a freak goal in the 89th minute from Kai Havertz to bounce back. For me, if Arsenal want to win the league, they need to go and get a forward that can contribute another 15 to 20 goals a season. They're being linked to the likes of Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield, Alexander Isak's a forward, Ollie Watkins as a forward. That's the sort of player they need to be bringing in my opinion. You know, you look at how strong this Manchester City's front line is, how strong their firepower is. They haven't just got Erling Haaland, they've got Phil Foden, they've got Edison, they've got Alvarez, Julian Alvarez, who can come in and score quite easily 15 goals a season. Then you got the likes of Jeremy Doku. Before that, you had the Riyad Mahrezes, the Leroy Sané's, the Raheem Sterling's. This season, you know, Martinelli hasn't been himself. You know, last season he had 15 Premier League goals. And I don't think Martinelli's performances have been that bad. I just don't think he's been that clinical. Obviously, Kai Havertz has come in and proved to be a very successful signing. But I do think they need that out-and-out number 9, or they need to bring in a forward who can potentially score 15 to 20 goals out wide. Essentially, another Leandro Trossard. You know, Manchester City today flex their muscles. You could lean on players like Phil Foden, who was absolutely exquisite today. And for me, Man City win the Premier League. But I do think next season's going to be, you're going to see Arsenal come again. You know, Liverpool knocked on the door, they knocked on the door, they knocked on the door, and eventually they got over the line. And I think a similar thing to this Arsenal team. You know, they are a very, very, very strong team right now. You know, you're losing the Premier League by 2 points. 2 points you're losing the Premier League to. There is absolutely zero shame in that. No shame at all. You know, Manchester City have just got this knack of when it comes down to these crunch time moments, when it comes down to these big defining moments, they get over the line. And Arsenal will get there. They're a young squad with a young manager, some world-class talent in there, the likes of Martin Odegaard, Saka, Declan Rice. You know, for me, it's about regrouping. It's about going again. It's about getting into the transfer window. You know, Arteta's got to identify what he needs to strengthen on, get rid of some of the dead wood, the Fabio Vieiras, Eddie Nketiahs, the Reece Nelsons of the world, and go again. And I think they're going to win the league in the next 2 years. The performance today, you know, that wasn't Arsenal at their best, but you're not really expecting anything more, knowing the fact that Manchester City were 2-0 up in 9 minutes. You know, it's hard to motivate yourself to keep on playing and keep trying to win the game, knowing the fact that even if you do win, you're not going to win the league. You know, it could be a lot worse. Teams like Man United finishing 8th. You know, Chelsea in the Europa League. Spurs, my team, in the Europa League. They finished 7 points above Liverpool. It's a very successful season in my terms, in my opinion, for Arsenal. I do think next season they have to win something. You know, Arteta went out of the cups, in my opinion, a little bit too easily this season. The Champions League, you know, it is what it is. You're up against an absolute European giant in a in a Bayern Munich. I think when I look at this Arsenal side, next season they've got to take the FA Cup and the League Cup more seriously if they want to go out there and be successful. That's one thing that Manchester City always do, is they just win the domestic trophies as well as, you know, just keeping it going. Like, for me, I look at this Arsenal side, and they've got so many world-class players, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, Saka, but they need another experienced player, or I guess you could say a leader in the dressing room, and they lack firepower. You know, Man City have got someone like Rodri in their dressing room who might not necessarily have the armband, but, you know, even today, chips in with a goal, Champions League final, scores the winner, has got that knack of turning up in the biggest of the biggest moments. And for me, That is what Arsenal need. But like, I don't think they should sack Arteta. I don't think it's been a bad season for Arsenal. I think they've just got to regroup and go again. You know, that's my opinion on Arsenal. Just regroup, go again, and next season do absolutely everything you can to just keep this level going. You know, Arsenal are a very, very, very strong team. Very, very, very strong team. For me, they need a couple more players, and they will win the Premier League. Mark my words. One or two more players in this Manchester City, in this Arsenal side, and they will beat Man City to the Premier League. Mark my words. But I want to say, look, thank you to everyone who's been supporting this channel. We're going to keep going throughout the Euros. The support has been absolutely, it's been ridiculous. We started this channel in March. We're just about to hit, well, we're on the verge of hitting 7,000 subscribers, which is absolutely ridiculous. We've had over 2,000 subscribers this month. So big up to everyone. Thank you all for this season. We will be there for the Euros. See you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. I am